Oh my god, guys, I pulled a Thea the Tomb Angel. I got so lucky this weekend, and we're gonna take her for a spin on my own account. So obviously I did not pull this champion, I got her from the Harddoom Tower, and I wanted to take her for a spin right away in some really fancy Savage gear so that you guys can have some kind of like working model. However, I'm gonna say this right now, her kit's a little bit more complex than just hitting. It feels like you want to take advantage of her A1 before you go into nuking, but she opens up with the nuking. So it begs the question, how can you really use Thea the Tomb Angel? Therefore, this might not be the best setup for her is what I'm trying to say, alright? So we do have a Savage set. It is not perfect, but let me go over it here real quick. We've got crit rate, attack. Here we've got some speed, crit rate, no attack percent. Unfortunately, we got crit rate and crit damage on the shield. For the gloves, we have 6-star crit damage gloves with some crit rate. A 6-star attack percent chest with some crit rate, which is probably the most important there. And we've got speed boots, crit rate, attack percent, crit damage, attack. Really nice boots, right? So obviously this setup was taken from a bunch of different champions. I don't usually run a set like this because, yeah, as you've noticed at the bottom here, we don't have 100% crit rate. But I'm trying my best here, and, you know, let's face it, I don't have a well account in terms of gear, but we do have 5k attack. Does that count for anything? It's pretty sweet. 5k attack on a basically Savage setup. All right, as for the ring, we have attack with 1 roll on attack percent. Then here we got a 6-star crit damage amulet, and we have an attack banner. I did not put accuracy. Let's go over her kit here real quick. We do have hex on the A1. This cannot be resisted, so obviously you don't need accuracy for that. Then for Hex Reaper here, we basically remove all the Hex debuffs from all enemies after attacking. I would assume you don't need accuracy for that either, and you also cannot increase the damage of this skill. And then finally for the A3 here, it is a perfect veil, and we get an extra turn, and this can be reduced, or the turn to cooldown, if the A1 crits. We do have, however, a True Fear on the passive, 50% chance of placing a True Fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn when an enemy loses 30% of their max HP in a single hit. So I think that for that alone, the sort of like passive crowd control that she has is really interesting. So we want to see that in action. But again, if we want to maximize the Hex to then hit harder with the Hex Reaper, I feel like that's not exactly like using her as a nuker in the arena. As for the masteries, for now, I literally just put whatever. We got Helm Smasher for the tier 6. We're just trying to see how hard she can hit, and we will start with that. We're gonna go in the arena, and we're gonna see how hard she can hit with this gear, and then I might try something else. So here we go in Classic Arena. Let's just pick a team. I'm really going to power her up as much as I can, hoping obviously that they don't cut in. Increase attack, AoE decrease defense, and weaken. And then we go for True Fear right here. And that basically almost killed all of those guys. Okay, so my Jack apparently hits really hard. But let's try this here. Let's go over. We want to see if she's going to do Not of This World first. Is she going to go like Perfect Veil, get her extra turn, and then nuke with Hex Reaper? Or would she go directly into Hex Reaper? So let's pay attention here, and bam. Okay, so she went for a Hex Reaper. We dealt really reasonable damage there for the gear that we have, and we were like very powered up, right? So now let's try a different team here. Perhaps maybe not this. Too many Spirit Champions. We'll stay away from that for the time being. Let's try this team right here. Let's see what we can get, hoping that we don't kill these champions with our Harvest Jack, right? So let's speed boost. We get that. Let's AoE decrease defense and weaken with Lydia. Then let's go into AoE True Fear. We do have that mastery that allows us to deal more damage if they have a fear debuff on, so that's sort of why I have Harvest Jack in there right now. We're going to speed boost again because she's that slow. She has like 160. So here, once again, are we going to go for Not of This World, or are we going to go directly into Hex Reaper? And Hex Reaper it is. Bam! 114k on that Trunda. Very impressive, but that is an attack-based champion, so we expect to hit really hard against these types of champions. And on top of that, she was basically magic, right? All right, we have another team right here, including a Rotos. So let's try this. We're probably not going to kill the Rotos in one hit, which is fine because we want to see if we're going to apply the True Fear. All right, so AoE, decrease defense, and weaken. Here we go. Then we're going to go in AoE, True Fear from our Jack, hoping that they don't cut in. Looks like we're all right. Here we go. All right, so we got True Fear. Oh, except, oh, you know what? Now that Rotos is going to die. So much for not killing that guy. Here we go. So we're probably going to go into Hex Reaper once again. So let's pay attention here to the numbers. Bam, 40 some K. So again, very typical, right? And also you don't need to book her to get the maximum amount of damage from that skill specifically, all right, for Hex Reaper. So overall, I'm gonna say, well, she hits hard, but again, if you want to hit even harder, you would have to hit with the A1 first. And I think that's the hard part here, is that you would need to bring some kind of like allies join attack maybe. So we're going to try exactly that. We're going to try and bring in Krila Witch Arm to see if we can trigger allies join attack first and then nuke. All right, so we're going to lose our AoE, decrease defense, and weaken, but that's all right. Technically, we're going to be gaining the Hex. We want to see if the extra damage from that makes it worthwhile, right? So maybe you can afford to not use AoE, decrease defense, and weaken. Here we go. We have to do this manually, or else she's going to go into her War Weirding, or whatever it's called. So let's go for a stun on this Arbiter, which we get. Then we should get allies join attack. Here we go. And let's try and pay attention to the hit from Thea right there. So we I think we killed some champs with that, and we did not get a no. Okay, I thought this was the True Fear part. It is not, and then it should be coming up here. We need to deal a certain amount of damage for the True Fear to trigger. So I don't know if when we hit them, did they somehow get it? We didn't quite see that. Let's see here with our big hit. Bam. All right, so we didn't have decreased defense and weaken. We got a weak hit on this Molly, so obviously not perfect, but we did get a True Fear applied, which I believe was from Thea the Tomb Angel. So that's always nice, because then you partner this with a Harvest Jack, which goes into his A2, and you've got yourself basically a form of crowd control by placing the block debuffs, right? So that's an added bonus of using another True Fear champion with this champion. It might allow like Harvest Jack to snowball into being a little bit more efficient, right? So let's try to finish this here. Let's try and crowd control this Molly with the A1 from Jack. We're going to speed it up. Let's speed boost. And then let's see. We're probably going to kill this Molly. Okay, not quite. Let's see what we're going to get here. Is she going to go straight into Befoulment, her A1? No, extra turn. And then we got that A1. 21k. Reasonable. Let's try that again. All right, here we go with another allies join attack setup. Let's see if we're faster than this Siphi. I really hope so, or else we're going to be in big trouble. We do get some True Fears applied. Let's go for the stun on Siphi, and then let's try to pay attention to Thea doing her allies join attack skill. I think she's going to be roughly last. Right there, boom, boom, 41k, 30-some K. So, you know what? The A1 can actually hit really, really hard as well. And then we got some True Fear, which I believe were already there because of the Jack, right? So, I mean, it's nice. You can definitely use allies join attack on the A1. And if you are lucky, these are two random hits. It might actually kill two champions, right? So, definitely usable in that sense as well. And then let's go for the AoE there. Boom, 46k, sorry, and 55k, which is very reasonable there as well. We're obviously not fighting really, really hard teams right now, but, you know, it's just to quickly showcase Thea. So let's try again with allies join attack. Here we go. Hopefully we don't get them to cut in. We boost up. Okay, we have our Jack going. AoE True Fear, yes. We didn't get one on this champ right here. That's Lanicus, I believe. So let's go for a stun. And then we're going to get our allies join attack. Let's pay attention to Thea again. We got boom, 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 little hit, and right there. It's hard to see, but we did get a Hex there, so we know we hit her, and we didn't get a True Fear applied, though. These two already had one, so again, it's a little bit hard to see. Maybe we can try a different setup. Let's see, now we're coming right back around to our Thea, and we're going to go into... We got a Hex there, boom. right? 82k, 130k. We did not have decreased defense and weaken, so you can kind of see how much the Hex debuff is actually really helping out. So I'm thinking this is a champ you want to do increase attack, allies join attack, she gets the Hex debuff applied, and then she nukes. Alright guys, now we're in the Dragon Dungeon. There's one more thing I want to test from Thea the Tomb Angel with this current setup, and then maybe we can do another video eventually. So instead of doing allies join attack here, we decreased defense and weaken with our Lydia. We're going to increase our attack and crit rate. That is going to give us basically 100% on Thea the Tomb Angel. Now I want to do something here. I want to do takedown on these champions, which is probably going to deal more than 30% of their HP as damage, and I want to see if somehow that would trigger the passive from Thea the Tomb Angel, and it does. So we got a True Fear there and a True Fear there. So what that means is that the passive does not only work for herself, it works for basically other champions as well. So this is a great form of passive crowd control, and that's exactly what I thought. So here we could go into nuking as well, and we're going to try that on these mobs to see just how hard we can hit. I'm pretty sure it would work. Right there, massive hits. All right, so very impressive champion overall. If you're lacking, let's say, Seer or something of the sort, however, I'm thinking if you have Seer, or if you've completed the Hard Doom Tower, chances are you have a Seer as well because she's that amazing. But right there, we placed a Hex debuff. Let's see this play out right here. Boom. Then we got a increased attack and crit rate, AoE decreased defense and weaken, our big takedown right there, and boom, 72k from that A1. Really impressive. Okay, so guys, she can absolutely hit. It's very impressive to see. Obviously, we're not going to get a True Fear on the dragon here, but let's see if we can apply a Hex debuff, and maybe we'll see just how hard she can hit. Hex Reaper right there with basically nothing on. We got like 30 some K, so obviously, if she isn't powered up, she's not going to be that impressive right here. I'm also thinking this team here is very squishy. It might not survive 1 or 2 hits from the dragon, but you know what? Let's just let it play out at this point because we're there and we'll see for sure. But I'm really impressed, all right? So allies join attack, I think, is the way to go. So you apply the Hex before she goes into nuking. And of course, if you have an other AoE enemy max HP champion like obviously Royal Guard, you're going to apply that passive, which is pretty sweet. I must say that's a cool concept. So I'm going to say that she's pretty useful. Again, this might not be the perfect way to set her up. You know what? You could always try a Relentless set. I think that would be really good on her as well. Although if you want to get the maximum possible damage out of her, for her to like literally kill champions with her A1, allies join attack, 2 random hits, and you literally take out 2 champs in the arena, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to go very offensive, right, with your gear. But there you have it, guys. That is going to be our quick showcase of Thea the Tomb Angel. Hopefully you guys you're on your way to getting this champion, because I think, you know what, I think she's worth it. At this point, she was the next big prize aside from Arbiter and Lydia. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll finish with quickly a screenshot or a quick capture here of my Great Hall in case you guys want to compare stats, because obviously this is going to affect it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.